Okay, I want to illustrate something for you. When a person tells somebody else the truth, it's like a mirror. And sometimes that mirror is almost like, it's almost like if you're a vampire, it's like the cross. It's a funny thing, it's a cross. And so you tell some people the truth, they call it hate speech because you hate me. Really, it's a reflection of yourself. When you make hateful remarks at somebody who tells you the truth, the hate is on you. When I was younger, I stood by a seesaw as a child. And because I had autism, I didn't fit in. I was weird or strange. And that gave the other people a reason to exalt themselves over me, just like the Jews were beaten and exalted over by the Nazis. Because you see, they saw the Jews as inferior people. And that gave them a reason why they could treat them in such a way. Well, my experience is not that much different. My experience is that I hung around other kids on the playground, and there were people who wanted to exalt themselves because they thought that they were better than me because I was strange. I had autism. They started to spit on me from head to toe. Now I want to talk to you about the Ring of Power. You ever see The Lord of the Rings? When Frodo puts on the Ring of Power, and nobody else can handle that Ring of Power. The ring of man and his self-exaltation. See, nobody knows what power will do to them. They think they can handle the ring. This is what the whole concept was all about. Remember Boromir. Remember, he thought that he could handle the ring. And anybody who got the ring was corrupted. And this is the state of man, whether you like it or not. This is the way people are. And this is the roots of Darwinism. Why do I say this? Because natural selection. What does natural selection mean? It means that you have to, in order to survive, be superior. It means that you have to dog eat dog. You have to be cold and calculated. Let's take a look at the Nazis. Let's take a look not only at the Nazis, let's take a look at Stalin. Let's take a look at Mao Zedong and all the terrible dictators with their armies that believed that they couldn't be weak, and weakness was a sign that they needed to be exterminated so that this way we could have natural selection. And you tell me, and then you'll tell me, well, atheists don't believe in natural selection. Excuse me, how many of you atheists out there believe in evolution? And if you believe in evolution, do you believe in Darwin? I'm just pointing out to you where that led. Whether you like that or not, I don't care. Now, you might not believe in Darwinism. You might be agnostic. You might be an atheist with a good heart. But how would you treat your fellow man when you get the Ring of Power? I can tell you how most of you reacted, because most of your remarks were hateful or condescending, like you were better than me, or better than your fellow man. I know what I'm talking about because I don't have this silly idea of being created. I was evoluted, and I have a superior brain to yours. Therefore, I can condescend to you. Let me tell you something. It's just as bad as any religious zealot I've ever heard, from the pious rabbi to the holy roller priest. It is still man exalting himself over his fellow man. And that's my point about seeds. You see, the seed of Adam was the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. It was the ring of power. And that's who man is. And that's why we can't get to heaven on our own. We needed somebody to die for us. Take a look at Nebuchadnezzar in the Bible. He said, look at this palace that I've built and all this kingdom I've built by my own hands. God struck him down and made him crazy, made him eat grass and dew grew in his beard. He was a madman for a long time until God decided to give his brains back to him. And then he said, oh, God is the one that gave me power. Why is that significant? Because you see, when people are given a position of authority, they have the ring of power on. This is the state of man. And you wonder why man was judged. That God had the right to judge nations and commit supposed genocide. But was it a race of people that were not like the Germans that that beat and killed the Jews and anybody who was infirmed and hated gays. So was God right in judging? God was right in judging. But who is man? This is how man works. He demonizes his fellow man. He makes them subhuman. Let's take a look at the idea of atheism being that people are just blobs of tissue. This is where the Nazi doctors got the idea that they could treat people like cattle. And now let's take a look at abortion. If it's just a blob of tissue, it has no human value. So God put a value on human beings. And then you turn around and judge God for judging man after they committed crimes. But yet we, as man, exalt ourselves and step over the innocent all the time. Now, am I saying that every person is like that? I'm going to tell you something. Nobody knows who they are until they're put on the ring of power. You ever see gold fever? When somebody gets it in their mind that they can make money, they'll step all over somebody else. The true person, the true colors of a person come out, okay, when they're given power. See, man doesn't know himself, but God knows man. And this speech is not hateful in any way. It's not calling out atheists or Jews or anybody and telling them I hate them. It's telling you that that was the reason why God did what he did. Although you might not believe it, the Bible makes absolute sense that the Jews would exalt themselves and be the way they were. And by the way, that's what caused Martin Luther to be angry with them. I work for the Jews. I know what they're like. And they're good people, but they're still exalted in the law. And that caused Christianity, which had no right to judge the Jews, do what they did. And it gives the atheists no right, by the way, to treat other people in such a way where they're ready to drag them to the stake and hang them on a cross themselves. See, this was what the message was all about. God bless.